Good evening, students. Today we are going to study about principal component analysis. Okay, we are studying a subject data analysis. So in this subject we are studying various data analysis techniques that are used to monitor or to track or to analyze the data to get the useful outcome from these data. And we also know that these data are very important for any researchers. So we need a large and more amount of data that we or any researcher use this data to predict a model that is very important, and we want to predict or forecast some useful information based on the data. Okay, but having this loads of data has lots of difficulties or pitholes also. Okay, so one of that pithole is called as curse of dimensionality. Okay, we will understand this curse of dimensionality by this example. As in this first picture we can see that we have only one line like this. If in this line we lost some coin, it will be very easy for us to find this coin in this area, as the figure has only one dimension. Okay, but in the second picture we can see this is a square, so it will take some more time compared to the first figure to find this coin. Okay, but in third figure we can see this is a cube which has three dimension. Okay, it is a 3D cube. So if we lose a coin in this cube, it will become more difficult or complex to find the coin in this cube or 3D model. Okay, three-dimensional model. So we can see that complexity of data get increases as its dimensionality is increasing. Okay, as its dimensionality is increasing, the complexity of data is also increasing. We also know that in real life we handle many dimensions as compared to the simple dimension that makes it more complex to handle the data. So this is called the curse of dimensionality. Okay, this is called the curse of dimensionality. So to remove this curse or to get rid of this curse, we came up with the process of dimensionality reduction. Okay, to get rid of this problem of dimensionality curse, we came up with the process of reducing that dimensionality to get the more simple prediction. Okay, so what this dimensionality reduction do, it basically use to filter the significant attributes or features that are used to make some prediction. Okay, so this is a kind of filter. So this principal component analysis technique is also a kind of dimensionality reduction techniques, okay, that are used in data analysis. So uh, the high dimension data, as we know, is extremely complex to process due to its inconsistencies in the feature, which increases the computational time and data processing time. Okay, so dimensionality reduction technique can be used to filter some limited number of significant features needed for training or production. Okay, so this is where the principal component analysis comes in picture. Okay, so principal component analysis technique is a dimensionality reduction technique that enables us to identify correlations and patterns in the data set, so that we can transform these data set into a significant into a data set of significantly lower dimension without any important information loss. Okay, suppose we have this original data that has multiple variables, okay, multiple variables. So what does the principal component analysis do? So it selects the most important variables, okay, it removes the inconsistencies and the redundant data it removes, and it it selects the data which has highest correlations and patterns. Okay, next, the steps that are used for computation of principal component analysis. So these are the step. Number one is standardization of data, then computation of covariance matrix. Next is computing eigenvalues and eigenvector. Next is computing principal component analysis, then reducing the dimension of data. So there are 5 steps. So we'll study these steps in detail. Number one is standardization of the data. So this standardization is done to remove the outliers from the data. So it is all about scaling of data in such a way that all the variables and their values lie within the similar range. Okay, so this is done to remove the extra variation or remove the outliers. For example, let us say that we have two variables in our data set. One has the value ranging from 10 to 100 and other has the values between 1000 to 5000. So in such case, we can see it is obvious that the output calculated by these two predictor variables is going to be biased, since one variable has very large range of data as compared to the previous one. Okay, so the variable which has large range of variation will have more impact on the outcome. Okay, so what we will do, we will standardize all the data. So this standardization is done by this formula: z is equal to variable minus mean upon standard deviation. Okay, this is z is normal standard variate. Next step is computation of covariance matrix. So we know that covariance relates to variable. It shows the relative relation between two variables. So the covariance matrix expresses the correlation between different variables in the given data set. So it is very essential to identify the dependent variables because they contain biased and redundant information. Okay, so it we need to remove these redundant data, so which reduce the overall performance of model. So we will see a case of two-dimensional data set with variable a and b, means two variable. It is a 2 by 2 matrix which will represented by this form. Okay, so covariance AA shows the variance variance of variable A with itself. Okay, and covariance AB shows the variance of variable A with variable B, and similarly covariance BB shows the variation of variable B within itself. Okay, so this covariance value denotes how the two variables are correlated. Okay, and we know that positive correlation means they are directly proportional, and negative covariance means they are indirectly proportional. Okay, so we know about covariance already. Next, third step is calculating the eigenvalues and eigenvector. So these are the mathematical construct that must be computed from the covariance matrix. So it will be eigenvalues and eigenvectors will be calculated from covariance matrix itself in order to determine principal component. Okay, so this principal component will be the new data set of variables that are obtained from the initial set of variables. Okay, this will be, principal components will be some selected variables, okay, from the given initial set of variables. So the principal component compresses or possesses most of the useful information that was scattered among the initial variables. We know eigenvalues are simply the scalars of the given eigenvectors, and eigenvectors are linear transformation. Eigenvectors are calculated when linear transformation is performed on them. Okay, next step is computation of principal component. Okay, once we have computed these eigenvalues and eigenvector, all we have to do is we have to order them in descending order. Okay, and where the eigenvalue the eigenvector with the highest eigenvalue will be the most significant one, and this will be called as first principal component. Okay, so the principal component of lesser significant can be removed in order to reduce the dimension. Okay, so suppose in this figure we can see this is the independent and this is the second independent variable. So these are the data that are randomly oriented. So we can see that this line is showing that these data are varying in this direction. Okay, in this direction. So this is the first principal component. Okay, so it shows the variation of most of the data. So line is showing their variation is along this direction. Okay, so this is the first principal component, and the perpendicular to this will lie the second principal component. Okay, so this direction, this is the second most important direction in which the data point are showing its variation. Okay, so principal component 1 is the most significant, and it also stores the maximum possible information. Okay, second principal component is the second most significant principal component, and it also stores the maximum remaining information. Okay, and so on, we can also find the principal component 3 and 4. Clear? Next, last step is reducing the dimension of the given data set. Okay, so the last step of performing principal component analysis is to rearrange the original data with the final principal component, which will have the maximum and most significant information of the initial data set. Okay, suppose this was the initial or original data set. So with the help of principal component analysis, we will get the data set in this form. Okay, this will be the most significant data set. Clear? Next, we will discuss one problem based on principal component analysis to have better understanding. Okay, suppose we have the data set of weight and height of some students, and the data is somewhere distributed like this. Okay, the data points are suppose 3, 6, okay, 5, 4, 3, 4, 8, 11, so 10, 20. So this is height and this is weight. Okay, similarly the data points are this way distributed. Okay, so if we want to reduce this 2D problem into 1D, so what we have to do, we can project the data in any one of the axes. Suppose we are projecting all the data in this height axis. So the like this. We'll plot it here. All the data will be projected on this axis. Okay, like this way we can project all the data. Okay, to reduce the data in one dimensional form. Okay, similarly we can also project all these data point on w axis. Okay, this way. So okay, like this we can project all the data set. So if you talk about the h axis, if all the data is projected on x axis, so the data points will be come like this. Okay, so what will happen, suppose we are projecting on x axis, this all will be removed. Okay, and the data points will be very closer to each other. So what will happen, this will be very difficult to separate each data and to get some result from these data or have any understanding from this data. Okay, this will be very difficult. So what we need to do, we need to find, okay, we need to find or have a better understanding from this data. We understood that any one of the factor is not enough. Okay, any one of the factor from these two factors is not enough to predict some useful data. Okay, so we have to find some other line or other factor that will predict both these data very correctly. Okay, that will help to find the prediction from these two variables. Okay, suppose this is the line which will better predict the data of based on these two factors. Okay, so this line is called principal component. Okay, so how we will find this line? Okay, so this line actually will show the maximum variation of all the data points. Okay, how we will find this line, we will understand. Okay, so we have already discussed the various steps. So the first we will calculate, we'll go in calculation part here. First we will find the covariance matrix. The formula will be 1 upon n will be the total number of variables, summation of x minus mu, that is mean, and x minus mu matrix transpose. Okay, the summation of these two. Next we will calculate the eigenvalues and eigenvectors from this covariance matrix. Third, based on the largest eigenvalue, we'll calculate the principal components. Clear? Next we are taking one example where these data points are given 2, 1, 3, 5, 4, 3, 5, 6, 6, 7 and 7, 8. Okay, this is x1 we can write, and this is x2 variable. So the mean of these data points can be calculated. The mean of x1 comes out to be 5.4, and this is the mean of second data. First we need to calculate x minus mu matrix. Okay, x minus mu matrix. So this will be calculated by 2 minus 5.4. This will come out to be minus 3.5. 1 minus 6 minus 5. Similarly for second data, 3 minus 5.4 will come minus 2.4. Second, 5 minus 6 will be minus 1. This will be minus 1. Okay, similarly we'll calculate for all the data. Okay, x minus mu we will calculate. So this is the total matrix. Next we will calculate the x minus mu into x minus mu's transpose. Okay, so we'll calculate separately. This is x minus mu and its transpose. Transpose is a change of rows into columns. So we will multiply this matrix. Okay, so this is the multiplication. Similarly we will do for second, minus 2.4 and minus 1, and its transpose will give this. Similarly for third variable, multiplication of third factor with its transpose will give this matrix. Next for fourth, fifth and sixth, we will calculate for all 6 variable. Okay, Next, what we need to do, we need to calculate the summation of the x minus mu matrix and its transpose multiplication. Okay, so these were the matrix 1 2 3 4 5 and 6 matrix. So we will add all 6 matrix to get the complete summation. Okay, so we'll add all 6 matrix and this will be the summation of all the matrix. Next, we will need to calculate the covariance matrix. Covariance matrix. So this was the formula. What was the formula? 1 upon n. For the covariance matrix, the formula was 1 upon n into summation of x minus mu and its transpose, multiplication of x minus mu and its transpose matrix. Okay, so this is the complete matrix. So we'll divide it by 1 upon n and we'll get the covariance matrix. Clear? We'll get the covariance matrix here. So this is the covariance matrix, and based on this covariance matrix we will calculate the eigenvalues and eigenvector. Okay, next step will be calculation of eigenvalues. So we know the Ax will is equal to lambda x transformation matrix. Okay, so A is covariance, this x, this is actually lambda is equal to lambda x. So we can write ai minus lambda is equal to mod of ai into lambda is equal to 0. So I is identity matrix. Okay, so this will give us this matrix. Okay, is equal to 0. So by solving this matrix by cross multiplication we can get the values of lambda. Okay, we'll solve this equation, quadratic equation, and we will get the value of lambda. Okay, so we'll get two values of lambda. Okay, lambda 1 and lambda 2. So we will these two are two eigenvalues. So based on these eigenvalue we will get eigenvectors. So we will first use the maximum value, that is minus 0.431. Okay, so we'll calculate the eigenvector based on first eigenvalue. Okay, ax is equal to lambda x. So by solving this we will get these two equation. Okay, suppose by using this equation we'll get a relation between x1 and x2 in this form, x1 and x2 in this form. So we have got the relation between x1 and x2 variable. Now we'll plot this x1 and x2 variables in this graph. Okay, we have plot all the values like 2 comma 1, 3 comma 5, 4 comma 3, 4 comma 3, and this is 5 comma 6, 6 comma 7, and 7 comma 8. Okay, so now we know the relation between these two variable is in this form. Okay, if we can see we take x1 is equal to 1, sorry x2 is equal to 1, so we'll get x1 is equal to 1.117. Okay, so the vector will be 1.117 into comma 1. Okay, so x1 will be, if x1 is 1.117 then x2 is 1. So we can see by this, we can see this is the direction of first principal component. Okay, this is the direction of first principal component. Okay, so we got the direction of first principal component. So this is enough to predict the variation of these two data points. Okay, so this is how we can reduce the data point in the maximum useful number of factors. Okay, so this was all about the principal component analysis. Thank you.